Maddie and Steve, they set the stage. From classic bouts to the modern age. Every slam, every story, every legacy comes alive with wrestling pedigree. So tune on in, the spotlight's bright. The ring is ready on this podcast night. It's wrestling pedigree.
Oh, it's been a while since I heard that. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wrestling Pedigree. I'm your co-host, Matty, and as usual with me, I have the co-host of Wrestling Pedigree, but the last real general manager of MWL, Steve Atkins. How are you, sir?
Oh, I am tired. I am in pain, but I'm here to talk about WCW, so what can be better?
Absolutely. And before we get into the show, a massive personal congratulations and well done to you and Ryan for a great show last week with Saving WCW.
Thank you.
Watching it in Paris was more than entertaining.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun shooting that one, and I'm happy to say Ryan is going to be back with us next week.
Yes, we're going to be talking the good and the bad and the goddamn ugly of WCW pay-per-views to end the WCW month. And just us three on and just give our best and our worst pay-per-views. It's going to be a lot of fun on that episode next week. And also we have a special episode also during next week also. So,
and that's going to be a lot of fun.
And maybe a lot of heat.
Maybe.
We might end up on Fightful. I do not know. Let's get into this. This week's episode is something I picked out because I always wanted to talk to you about it, Steve. WCW Starrcade 1997. Did you watch this live, or did you catch like the after show or something?
I know I watched it live, but it's been so long, and guys, I'm old. I forget stuff, so I had to rewatch it the only way I was able to, which was watching it match by match instead of the full event on YouTube.
Yeah, God, we miss the network.
Yes, we do.
So let's get into it. Starrcade, 1997, December the 28th, Washington, D.C., the MCI Center. I was surprised with this. The attendance, 17,500.
Yeah, which, compared to some of the big events that they have now, it's not a lot. But for then and for the MCI Center, it was huge.
The buy rate was 700,000. The thing that got me, and this is kind of the way they were going with Starrcade on this pay-per-view, it's the tagline. And the tagline is, Hogan's a colorful guy, but his nightmare is black and white. Paybacks are hell. I just thought, wow. You thought that worked for me, brother. Obviously, we're going to talk about each match and the craziness and the booking and stuff like that. But in 1997, WCW, they were hot, weren't they?
Oh, yeah. WCW was absolutely at its peak. The NWO storyline was probably at the very apex. It was Sting's first match after, a year of being up in the rafters?
Yeah.
So this was something that was really, really, really hyped. And to me, it delivered.
It did deliver. Starrcade became the highest grossing pay-per-view in WCW. The matches really revolved around WCW and the NWA war. And like you said, the Sting and Hogan rivalry culminated about 18. Whoa. They say a year long, but I think it's around about 14, 15 months that he was in the
Yeah,
roster.
I think you're pretty accurate on that.
So what I loved about WCW is whenever they do that kickoff matches, they do it over Tuesday. And it was Dean Malenko versus Eddie Guerrero for the Cruiserweight Championship. Wasn't their best match because I've seen them in ECW have fair matches, but what's your take on this match? Why is Dean Malenko so
Maddie, we are having a little bit of problems hearing you, but luckily I can read lips. So, Eddie and Malenko, they always delivered. Even some of their worst matches, they were still 4-star matches, and this was one of them. It wasn't an over the top amazing match, but it was a great start. It was high paced, and Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, you can't go wrong there.
It wasn't their best match because I've seen better matches in ECW.
Yep.
However, just watching Dean Malenko wrestle is absolute pleasure.
I mean, there's a reason they called him the Professor.
Or the man with 1,000 holes.
Yep.
It was a really good match. But we talk about Dean, but we're going to talk about Eddie. Eddie's so amazing in this match because he was focusing on the leg. I think he drop kicked the leg, Dean Malenko's leg. He frog splashed Dean Malenko's leg.
Yep.
And then got the pins. It was slower paced than before, but it's still one of the best matches on the card, in my opinion.
It was slower paced, but for them, it was a lot more of a technical match than they usually put on. A lot of the stuff that they usually put on was just high paced. Yeah, it was technical, the matches that they put on before, but this one, they played into the ring psychology a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can understand why they put this match on first because, by God, the second match was shit.
Sure was.
and this is with Randy Savage in it.
Yeah.
Norton, Scott Norton, Vincent, and Randy Savage. However, Randy Savage wasn't supposed to be on this pay-per-view.
No, it was originally supposed to be Kevin Nash.
No, no.
Oh no, it wasn't.
It was Conan.
It was Conan. Yep.
However, Conan had a family issue in Mexico. He couldn't get out of Mexico in time to come to Washington. So they put in Randy Savage, which is crazy to me, thinking there was no Randy Savage on this pay-per-view apart from this no-show.
It's crazy to me that Savage was a backup plan.
It's just mind-boggling because this is the guy who's so hot at the time in WCW.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, this Starrcade at 97 is kind of like WrestleMania, and they left one of the biggest names off. It's kind of like not putting Roman Reigns on WrestleMania card. I know that's a high thing, but he was that big in 1997. We had the Steiner brothers they faced off with, and Ray Taylor, formerly known as the Big Boss Man. This match was lackluster, not the best. You could tell they just literally just threw them together. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. No, this was after Ray Taylor kind of broke away from the NWO.
Yeah.
So there was also kind of that thing of, well, is he going to actually side with the NWO or is he WCW?
I so much prefer the Big Boss Man that we got in the Attitude Era than this Ray Taylor.
Yep.
I mean, I love watching Ray Taylor, but you cannot beat the Big Boss Man, even though in 93 or 1998.
Yep. I mean, no matter what his name was, though, he was an amazing big guy.
Oh, freakish.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute freakish.
Yep.
Obviously, what was really crazy was Savage got the pin on Scott Steiner
Yeah.
with the elbow drop, and I think that turned it around. Then Scott would turn on Rick, I think a couple of months later.
Yeah, it wasn't long after that that Scotty became Big Papa Pump.
I looking at Steiner then, and then looking at the Big Papa Pump, I think it was the best move he ever made.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would
And not only that, but going over to the NWO, starting to team him up with somebody like Buff Bagwell, that was genius.
Oh, absolute genius. And I would not put him in front of a math test. But
Absolutely not.
or by a tiger. Don't put him near a tiger, don't put him in a math test. However, I would rather do millions and millions of IQ tests than watch this next match, which was Goldberg versus Steve McMichael.
I feel bad for Steve McMichael here.
Yes, I do. He got thrown into front of the walls.
Yeah.
This is my notes. This match was 5 minutes and 50 seconds too long.
Yep.
Literally, Goldberg applied the knee bar, the spear, and the jackhammer, and we go home.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. And with Mongo being a former Chicago Bear, they should have let him get at least something in. Let him get a good amount of offense. Stretch it to 8-9 minutes.
Yeah.
Make it not seem like Mongo was just a throwaway.
They were really going on for the streak. But
yeah.
I think a couple of matches before this was the William Regal match.
Yeah.
Which exposed Goldberg. So I'm thinking they're just like, no one ain't getting no offense on him. He just comes in, breathes the smoke, does his shit, and then go home.
Yep.
And it's just, I felt so bad for Mongo.
Now, looking back on it, I feel bad for Mongo. I'm sure when I was watching it, I was probably like, fuck yeah, Goldberg. Goldberg can kill anybody.
You gotta think, Mongo was a fourth horseman at that time.
Oh, yeah.
He was decent. For someone that came back from NFL, he wasn't that bad.
No.
All right. Next match was scheduled. There's another replacement coming up now. Raven versus Chris Benoit. However, Raven was injured.
Mm-hmm.
But so instead of another cancellation, which we already had Conan and then Kevin Nash, Raven comes out and then one of his flocks fills in for him, which I found out Eric Bischoff got a private jet for Raven to come out, even though he was injured. And I thought, wow, because at that time they were probably not the best of people.
Right.
Raven says no well, my flock done it, and one of their best wrestler flocks, which is I love him to bits, Perry Saturn.
Yes. Now this is interesting. The opening match, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko. This match, Perry Saturn, Chris Benoit.
Oh, Rascals.
Yeah, the Rascals had jumped over to WWE not long after.
Oh, yeah. 2 years? 2 years? Just under 2
Yeah.
years after this.
Yep.
Wow, that's, yeah. Cool. I didn't notice that. It was a really good match, though.
It was.
Both men dominated each other in periods. We don't want to sound controversial here, but at that time, Benoit was a really good wrestler at this time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even up until what happened, Benoit was like the very top of my list of technical wrestlers.
I was a massive fan of Perry Saturn's suplexes and his ring knowledge, like his ring generalness. However, those rings of Saturn submission hold was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It absolutely was. And, to me, Batista, I loved when Batista kind of adopted it with the Batista bite.
Yeah, that was a good one. I forgot that he did that until when they showed the match, and underneath it goes Batista's bite on another video, and I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, he did that."
Yeah.
What is your take on Perry Saturn? Because he's obviously had some troubles recently, but his whole career, even with Moppy in WWF, he did.
I mean, when
so well.
Seeing him as part of ECW, I absolutely loved him. Jumped over to WCW as part of Raven's flock, and I fell more in love with him. Because I was able to watch him every single week. And then when he came over to WWF, watching him interacting with the rest of Benoit and Malenko and Eddie, it was just awesome to me because I talk all the time about Malenko being a great technical wrestler, Benoit being a great technical wrestler, but Perry Saturn is another really underrated technical wrestler.
Oh, he's majorly underrated. Majorly.
Oh, yeah.
He's criminally underrated.
Mm-hmm.
I think his match. I want to say his match with Al Snow on one SmackDown in 2000 was unbelievable. That it does not get the recognition it needs.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of weird though that actually Perry Saturn actually won this match because the flock interfered a lot.
Yep.
After I think this match onwards, there was a lot more interferences in everywhere else.
Yep.
I think who was part of the flock? I can't remember. I know obviously Raven, Perry Saturn, Stevie Richards here?
Nope. We had Raven, Perry Saturn, Kidman. Sick Boy. Riggs, Reese, and I feel like I'm forgetting somebody.
This Reese the really tall one.
Yeah,
I remember he hit a stop sign on Goldberg, and Goldberg just speared the shit out of him.
Yep.
Yeah. Whenever Billy Kidman's name is told, I just say fuck Billy Kidman because that dude is too much lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with Perry Saturn, it was a really strong win against Four Horsemen Benoit. The next match was the stuff. It was a muscle match. I mean, you could put this as a flex match.
Yep.
Buff Bagwell versus Lex Luger. Again, a lot of distractions in this match. I watched this match and I forgot how good Luger was at this point. Where
Yeah.
if he was awake and he was on it, he could go. Do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Um, Luger was one of the best WCW ever had.
Yep, I agree.
But I could very easily say the same about Buff though. Like Buff was so good in the ring.
Oh yeah, him and Scotty Riggs were unbelievable as a tag team. Also,
Oh yeah, the American Males.
yeah,
I had so much fun watching them.
is it bad? I'm thinking of it like on MWO on your Surge roster to think who can you make as alpha males like on there, the American males.
Oh, I could totally do this. How about Tommy 5-Star?
No, God, I knew that was coming.
No, I can't do that. He's my tag team partner.
You could probably put, I don't know, to make it loud. So they got to actually do the persona and do the like everything. I would have put Justin and Lewis just to see what shit they could do.
But see, Lewis isn't on my roster though.
Well, that's what's so good about MWL. When you do the prediction league, there's trades.
But also, Lewis is an American.
True, but not offense. I remember many Survivor Series ago, there was Team Canada and there was only one Canadian.
Yeah, okay.
So, and there's a lot of people that pretend they were like American stuff, but they were like Canadian or French or stuff like that. They said Yokozuna was Japanese, but he was actually Samoan.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Just dropping knowledge. This match was good, but obviously it was a setting after the Bill Goldberg match where just interference after interference.
Yeah.
But our boy Buff the Stuff Bagwell wins again. He was on a good streak at this time. If you were Eric Bischoff at that time, how would you have booked Buff Bagwell after Starrcade 97? Would you put him in
I would have pushed him to at least a mid-card title.
Oh, so the US title.
Yeah. I would have pushed him to the US title, maybe give him a little peek at the main event.
So I was thinking that I would have made it kind of like Sami Zayn is, so he'll go for it a couple of times, but never win the big one. But he'll get that because he could be a really good babyface that he could just literally just get everyone behind him and think, yeah, he could do it, and then all of a sudden NWO, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, you saw how over he was when he was going by Marcus Alexander Bagwell.
Yes.
And then he just became more over when he became Buff.
And he came even more over when his mama came on.
Yes. Oh, Judy Bagwell.
The best tag team champion ever. The next match was perfect. Kurt Hennig versus DDP for the US title. What's really interesting is Kurt Hennig was supposed to be in this match.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, sorry. DDP
No, he was. Yeah.
Was supposed to be Ric Flair was supposed to face Kurt Hennig. But apparently Flair got injured 2 weeks before this match. Did you watch this match?
I did not watch it on my rewatch.
Can you remember this match?
Eh,
It was a good
not
match.
really.
I mean, it was a really good match to the point where the crowd woke up for it. They were lackluster throughout all this, apart from the Goldberg thing, but they were lackluster. And then all of a sudden, DDP, who was the People's Champion, woke everybody up, and this match saved the pay per view at that time.
Yeah. I mean, DDP was one of their most over stars at that point.
Oh,
Most over stars that wasn't wearing black and white.
I think when I listened to 83 Weeks, Eric Bischoff said he had one of the highest, not like WCW merchandise T-shirts.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sting. Then it was DDP. It was just unbelievable.
And I think I actually might have that T-shirt somewhere.
No,
Although I'm sure it doesn't fit me anymore.
I still got tops that I bought in like early 2000s. It'd be like a crop top now. I'd be like Stevie Richards back in ECW. It was a really good match. It was so technical, good storyline. I'm a fan of storyline, storytelling in the ring. It's such a brilliant match, and even then, Kurt Hennig was just unbelievable, wasn't he?
Kurt Hennig was always unbelievable. Like, he was perfect.
Yeah. Do you think he was used really good in WCW? I'm not even going to mention the we hate rap cowboy bullshit he did.
Well, I'm going to mention it. So I think there was a lot of hits and misses with Kurt Hennig in WCW. But I think there were more misses than there were hits. Especially when they stuck him with the West Texas Rednecks. That to me was a big miss. They're calling him the West Texas Rednecks. He's from Minnesota. Minnesota is as far away from West Texas as you can get.
Oh, I love it. But I agree. It was a miss. It was a total miss. Yeah. However, he still made it freaking entertaining.
He did, and I'm not even gonna lie. I have that song on my Spotify.
Oh my god! I can't say much. I still got Jeff Jarrett's or / Rudy with My Baby Tonight on my playlist.
Oh, I have that too.
So yeah, I'm trying not to sing it. I think Kurt Hennig was really good in the Four Horsemen and then when he portrayed them and to go at NWL, I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I think that was one of the absolute hits that WCW did with him.
Yeah, then it died out when half the roster went to NWL, but I still remember what he was like in TNA in 2000. I think it was not TNA, WWE when he came back. He was just on form then.
Oh yeah,
his match with Stone Cold, I still love.
Mm-hmm.
I still can't do the towel thing. Can you?
I can do the towel thing. I can also do the gum thing.
Can you do what Pat McAfee does? It does the pencil.
No, I can't do that.
Because he was a good commentator, though. He was a good color commentator.
Yeah.
This match, I love to talk to you about this now. DDP obviously hit the Diamond Cutter and then got the US title, so it was a really good match. We will talk about DDP on another show because I think the way DDP's career is done and stuff he does outside is a whole episode on its own.
Absolutely.
Bischoff versus Larry Zbyszko with your boy Bret Hart as special ref for some reason. The winner will give their brand the control of WCW, which is means Eric Bischoff, NWO, Larry Sabisco, True Great, WCW. What the fuck was this match? It had really good
This
heat.
was
It had
it
really
did. It had amazing heat. But this was just Bischoff wanting to get himself inside the ring.
Do you think so?
Yes. They very easily could have done it with
Oh,
Zabisco versus, well, Zabisco ended up going on to face Hall.
yeah.
Why not just move Hall up to the pay-per-view?
Yeah, but would you, apart from Hulk Hogan, would you say Eric Bischoff had the most heat? Because he was the boss.
Yeah. I'd say probably.
So they had to use that heat somewhere. And Larry Sabisco on commentary was so loved because he hated the NWO.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. So
But-
maybe they did make the right call with that.
However, what didn't make the right call was your Bret Hart as special ref.
Yeah.
I mean, they delayed him by I think he did debut in WCW for like a month after the screw job.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty close to it.
And I don't understand what Bret was doing in this match. I saw this match. I had no idea what Bret was doing. He was stopping Sabisco out a couple of times, and then Scott Hall put a steel plate in Bischoff's footwear, which made the kicks harder. Then Bret holds Eric Bischoff's hand up, even though there's no winner yet, and then clothesline the bastard.
Yeah.
It was
confusing. It was really, really weird booking.
This was the perfect example of why not, like, what the hell's going on in WCW from this point, isn't it, really? Especially when it came to Bret.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think they also kind of needed a match to kind of get the audience ready for what was coming next.
Yeah. I kind of said why they got Bret Hart, because I think Thunder was coming along. So they needed a face for Thursday Night Thunder, which was going to be Bret Hart and Lex Luger and Giant. But what did not get me in this match was this was a DQ win for Larry Sabisco.
Yeah.
I would have booked it, or probably yours probably the same. I would have booked it that Sabisco will pin Eric Bischoff in like they'll get a massive pop if that was so true.
Oh yeah, that's how I would have booked it. You know, I would have gone about the same way that they did, with, you know, Bret clotheslining Bischoff after finding the steel plate, and then I would have had Zabisco take advantage and pin him.
Yeah,
instead of just saying that's a match.
It baffles me why they didn't do the pin, and it was just a boring DQ where could have been a little bit of Eric Bischoff's ego didn't want to get pinned. I think you might be right there.
Yeah.
During this pay-per-view, we had Scott Hall come out for no reason, saying Kevin Nash ain't going to show up. He ain't going to face Giant. I think at the time those two were feuding.
Yep, they were feuding because Nash said that the Giant's chokeslam was weak.
Ooh. You know what's so funny? You said that, right? 2 years later, he puts Undertaker through a fucking ring with that same chokeslam. Um, yeah, Scott comes out for this. It made no sense why Scott Hall came out, and then said like that shit showed up, like you said about the Giant. There was rumors why Nash didn't come up because he didn't want to put Giant over. However, we found out that he had health problems, so yeah, like a breathing is like higher heartbeat, could have been a heart attack because he has heart attack history in his family. But because it's Nash and he's all about that paper, he did get some shit for no showing one of the biggest pay per views of WCW time, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, the Bischoff Sabisco match, I would not put there. I would have done this match before the US title match.
Yeah, I think I would have too.
Just because of what the fuck happened in the main event.
Oh my god.
Right, let's get into this because I've been waiting to speak to you about this. Hulk Hogan puts his world heavyweight title on the line against Sting. Now, I knew as a kid, I was about 8 or 9, I knew straight off something was weird in this match. And watching it back a couple of times, I was right. Why did they make Sting come out through the fucking back?
You know, he had been coming down from the rafters for over a year. Why not have him do it all over again? But I get to an extent why they did it.
Yeah, I can understand that. However, like WWE, when he showed the intro, they say, "Oh, this is amazing intro," which is a good entrance. But we see him in the rafters, and all of a sudden he's coming out like a normal wrestler, and it just shoot the magic down, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
The match started off well. I thought back and forth as we would have thought the World Heavyweight title match. Nick Patrick, God bless him, he's the referee. I mean, you can't get a crooked ref in there unless you're watching Major League Baseball. Hogan cheated a couple of times. Guardrail hits the ring post, comes in, big boot, leg drop. Now, what do you think he was supposed to do, Nick Patrick? Was it supposed to be a really fast count? Or do you think someone got in his ear and say, "Your brother, do a normal count"?
With how I know Hogan and Brett's relationship was, it wouldn't surprise me if Hulk had said, "Hey, just do a regular count. That way we can make Brett look like an idiot."
Yeah, I make Steen look weak.
Yeah.
There's so much rumors of that going around that Hogan probably went to Bischoff and then Bischoff went to Nick and said, "Do a slow count, do a normal count." And then Brett comes out and then says it's bullshit, and then we get a rematch. It took away the fire, didn't it? Because this was their chance to do one of the best pay-per-views, the biggest payoff in their biggest rivalry in WCW, and they fucked it because of ego.
Yep.
When you were watching this live, what the hell were you thinking?
When I was watching it live, I went, "Wait, why is Brett saying it was a fast count? It was a very, very normal count. It was 1, 2, 3." And then you see Brett arguing with Nick Patrick, going 1, 2, 3.
Oh man, you watched it you watched it earlier. Do you still get that feeling?
Yeah. Up until this very moment, that was one of the very best pay-per-views that WCW ever put on.
Yeah.
If that hadn't happened, pay-per-view would have been virtually flawless.
And that's
with the exception of, I was going to say with the exception of Goldberg's 5 minutes and 50 seconds
of hell. Bret Hart came out, claimed it was a fast count. Sting performed a Stinger Splash and a Scorpion Deathlock, and then Hart called for the bell, which is kind of like a screw job anyway.
Yeah.
And Sting won the world title, and if I remember, a lot of the WCW lock came out. I can remember Giant holding him up.
Yep, the WCW locker room completely emptied. You could see everybody from WCW out there, whether they were a face or a heel. They were all lifting up Sting.
I found it funny that I think it was Bobby Heenan said, "We won the war. We won the battle," or something like that. "We won this. It's a dent in NWO." And then and it dies off. I was like, they had their chance. I mean, I'm not a wrestling booker, but I think I wouldn't go with your gut and say, we got to do this properly. No smalls finishes, no bullshit. All eyes were on this pay-per-view, on this rivalry, on this match. This match is still talked about, obviously, like we are doing now, today.
Right.
And you can understand why WCW fucked it from then on, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, even for about another year, they were still going strong. But this was a big black mark on the brand.
Would you say this is a bigger black mark than freaking Poker Doom?
Oh, absolutely not.
Bigger black mark than Vince Russo win the world title?
Absolutely not.
What's interesting?
It's somewhere in the top 5.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. The reason why they did this, apparently, is because Sting didn't have a good tan. This was noted on A3 Week. Apparently, Bischoff said Sting wasn't up for this. He wasn't enthusiastic about the match. So him and Hogan said, right, what can we do? Just because a guy's tan is not the way he used to have it, he did look interested. It's completely baffled him.
Which you got to think, he spent the last year in the rafters. Is he going to get a fucking tan in the rafters?
Yeah, I was going to say, you ain't got no open, like, stadiums to do it in, or open arenas where there's like some fucking roof. You could get his tan there.
Yeah, he's not doing it under a fucking skylight.
Or a greenhouse. Oh, damn. I just love that excuse by Bischoff on 83 weeks. I just thought, oh my God. And what's great is Conrad Thompson said bullshit on that. Well, do you know what really baffled me? I love this. Is the next night they had the repeat match.
Yep.
They did the same spots. However, they still had Nick Patrick. He did the fast count this time for Hogan to win. However, Randy Anderson, who is basically the Earl Hebner of freaking WCW, he was over Randy, comes out and does the bit that Bret Hart is supposed to do. And then we get the same finish with Sting winning. They did the same spot in under 24 hours.
Yep.
I probably knew then. I would know I was like 8 or 9, but I'm like, have I got this on repeat? I know it says Nitro, not Starrcade, but you cannot do the same fucking spots and the same storyline 2 days, surely.
No.
That's like you putting me for Justin 4 straight days, 4 straight weeks.
I tried to do that with Sean versus Justin.
But you learned.
Yes.
It's unbelievable. You watched the whole pay-per-view. What's your final take of it, and why is it so famous to the fact why they fucked themselves up from the next 4 to 3 years?
I mean, to me, it was still a strong pay-per-view. Even taking the fucked up ending into account, taking the Zbyszko versus Bischoff match into account, and taking Goldberg versus Mongo into account, I still give it a strong 8 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is why, ladies and gentlemen, Steve is more positive than me.
I mean, to me, it delivered. It delivered on storylines. It delivered on in-ring action for the most part.
I'll give you that one.
And I mean that Sting entrance, that was so fucking good. The voiceover that they had before, like before his music starts, we hear a child's voice come on. It says, "When a man's heart is full of deceit, it burns up, dies, and a dark shadow falls over his soul. From the ashes of a once great man is risen a curse, a wrong that must be righted. We look to the skies for our vindicator, someone to strike fear into the black heart of the Sandman who created him. Against an army of shadows comes a dark warrior, the purveyor of good within a voice of silence and a mission of justice. This is Sting." Watching it again yesterday sent fucking chills up my spine.
That is, I totally forgot about that voiceover until you mentioned it before we came on. Man, that is some chills. In my head, I can remember that now.
Ooh.
But you still should have came down with fucking rafters.
I do completely agree with that.
Even if
Like, we should have gotten the "This is Sting." Then, the thunder, lightning, lights going.
Oh yeah.
And then he should have just dropped down from the ceiling.
I would have been more happy if he came down and then land on the ramp and then head to the ring.
Yeah, I would have been okay with that.
I would have been. For me, I would probably. God, I love it. By the way, if you're listening to this on podcast, Steve has his Sting shirt on, and he now has his action figure out. Oh, Sting. I think I have one of those.
And what's funny about this is I also have the Bret Hart WCW.
Oh yeah.
And these are the only two that I'm able to do this with. I can have Bret put Sting in the sharpshooter.
Okay, and then put Sting, get Sting to put Bret in the Scorpion Deathlock. Oh shit!
Nope, it doesn't work that way.
Oh, that's so cool. I bet you don't tap though.
Oh no, never.
That is our breakdown and basically my rant of Starrcade 97. Steve was way too positive for that one.
I mean, here on Wrestling Pedigree, we look at the positive. We talk about wrestling positivity.
You do, however, we got bad at it sometimes, especially if you want to watch. Hey, Lewis. By the way, you can get me and myself, Ross, and Lewis on the Ross Report next Saturday. Cheap plug. Apart from just if pay-per-view is just bad because you just gotta watch Goldberg and Steve McMichael.
Yeah, I mean that's unfortunate, but
That's the black spot
like,
on that pay-per-view.
yeah, I mean it kind of is what it is.
Absolutely. But that's our breakdown for it. Uh, Steve, where can people find yourself, and what shit can you promote for us?
Well, first off, you can find me on Facebook under my government name, Steve Akins. You can find me on Instagram under so many tragedies. Find me on X under pedigree_Steve. You can find us on TikTok, Spotify, YouTube. I should let you plug that part.
That hey, because you have one host job last week, you get the bug, don't you?
Yeah, kind of. You can also find our merch store. If you're watching right now, you can see the little banner going across the bottom with wrestling-pedigree.myshopify.com.
Got some good shit going on there.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good stuff. We got hats, we've got beanies, we've got shirts. Shirts promoting us, shirts promoting MWL, Forever Boston Sports, all part of the Wrestling Pedigree family.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you can't find me, then it wasn't meant to be.
Like Steve said, you can find Wrestling Pedigree on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, WhatsApp channel, TikTok. We're everywhere on the social media. We're giving our thoughts and giving you wrestling news. Next week is going to be a fun show.
Yeah, well,
We are talking good, the bad, and the ugly of WCW pay-per-views, which probably this pay-per-view that we just talked about will probably be on that list. However, we'll have a special guest for us next week, as we will have Ryan, who amazingly done the show with Steve last week. So we'll get his opinions on his his best pay-per-views and bad pay-per-views. And we have a special guest interview next week where we will promote it by the end of this week. So
yeah,
a lot of negotiations happened, but finally we got there. And if you're watching us live, in about 24 minutes, we have the Wrestling Pedigree, which will be Jeff Chadwick, myself, the wanker from Boston, Justin, and I do believe there's someone else, but I can't remember. So, apart from that, from myself and Steve, enjoy professional wrestling.
and don't be a dick.